Si comes tienes que lavar tu plato, Firulais. Anda, enjuágalo bien. No me gruñas. A ver, con la esponja eso. Y enjuaga bien que luego deja todo jabonoso. Eso así, muy bien, aunque de malas.
Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. It would seem that IBF featherweight champion Nina Meinke is on the comeback trail and scheduled to return following her back injury and subsequent back surgery. March 20th in Hamburg, Germany, opposite the ring, the Dominican Republic's hard-punching Diana Vargas. You may be familiar with that name. That's the same Diana Vargas that Sky Nicholson outclassed. Some fights ago, some fights later, Diana will be challenging Nina for the blue and gold strap. Nina Meinke, who sports a professional record of 20 wins with 3 losses and no draws, 4 knockouts, having been knocked out once in 23 professional bouts, having campaigned as low as feather and as high as lightweight. She's been around and has really hit her stride in the last few years. Diana Vargas, who she's going to be facing, sports a professional record of 20 wins with 2 losses and 1 draw, 13 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 23 professional bouts. She's got a lot of fights and she's got a lot of knockouts, mostly over pedestrian-level competition. It's not that Diana's power isn't real, it's that the kind of girls that she normally fights makes that power very easy to deliver. Just standing there, waiting to be hit. Last in action in September of last year, opposite the ring, Saimar Acosta, who Diana stopped in the first round of a contest scheduled for 8. It's the only fight that Diana had all of last year, and it's only the second fight she's had since dropping a decision to Sky Nicholson in 2024. She had a rematch with Gina Joseph that ended in a technical draw, then followed it with a win over Saimar Acosta. Now she's challenging Nina for the IBF title. Nina Meinke, who was last in action in May of last year opposite the ring multi-weight champion Daniela Bermudez, who she decisioned in a contest scheduled for 12, effectively becoming IBF champion. Currently, Nina is on an 8-fight winning streak after having dropped a decision to then-champion Sarah Mahfoud in April of 2022. Nina has fought 8 times since then and won 8 times since then, becoming IBF champion herself. So this is going to be her first fight since that back injury and subsequent back surgery to the eye. Nina Meinke has been in there with better fighters comparatively than Diana Vargas has been in there with. Nina Meinke is more world-traveled than Diana Vargas, in that way, more experienced, and overall is a craftier boxer. The danger is that Nina is coming off an injury, and Diana is very aggressive, physically strong, albeit limited. Her fundamentals are quite poor, but she is a hard puncher, and you don't want to let her hit you clean. It's important to note that this is a voluntary, not a mandatory. The IBF are allowing Nina to fight an opponent of her choosing, but beyond that, Nigeria's own Elizabeth Oshoba, who was recently picked up by MVP, she's currently ranked at number 1 in the pole position to become Nina's mandatory challenger. Given that Nina's been out of the ring for some months, in order to fight her may not be far behind. What else Nina might do beyond this fight in March? She might reschedule a fight with Amanda Serrano, who still holds 2 alphabet titles at this weight and isn't set to retire. Not just yet. There is talk of Amanda Serrano returning to action later on in the year. You will recall that Amanda already made a fight with Nina Meinke on the island of Puerto Rico, but right before the fight, she had an injury to her eye that prevented her from fighting. So, because they already made a fight before, and because they're both champions at the same weight now, I could see a fight between them being rescheduled, so long as Nina can handle Diana. I think she can. Nina's a very crafty boxer, athletic, cerebral, and more experienced comparatively than Diana Vargas. I like Meinke to win a decision in her native Germany, and I like saying Meinke because it makes me sound like the Germans. Look for the ring return of Nina Meinke in March. In men's lightweight news, Raymond Muratalla and Andy Cruz comes with high stakes in fast-evolving lightweight division. The quickly developing lightweight title picture's first domino of 2026 will fall on January 24th this weekend when IBF champion Raymond Muratalla meets Andy Cruz at Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. Fontainebleau. Muratalla, 23-0 with 17 KOs, is set to defend the title he landed last year for the first time when facing Cruz to headline a Matchroom Boxing show live exclusively on DAZN. Eddie Hearn has long lauded the 2020 Olympic gold medalist Cruz and was gung-ho to deliver the opportunity for the mandatory challenger he promotes by securing an $888,000 purse bid. So you know Matchroom is invested in Andy. Since they don't often win purse bids, they made sure to win this one. The fight's winner can position themselves to possibly be the divisional king by year's end. I was born for these types of events, Cruz said during a press conference. We have our sights set on all the titles. This is my first opportunity against Muratalla, who's a great, strong fighter. He's not the champion by chance, and we'll go out and put on a great show. I'll show everyone why I've gotten this far, and it's not by coincidence. Muratalla, a 29-year-old from Southern California who looks like a mixture of both real talk and undefeated at the same time. Coached by reigning trainer of the year, Robert Garcia, won the IBF interim title in May when he beat Zaur Abdullayev by UD. The sanctioning body then elevated Muratalla to full champion after Vasyl Lomachenko announced his retirement. This is the kind of fight that needed to happen, said Muratalla. It's great for both of our careers and good for boxing. My mindset is different right now. I am here to take over. Muratalla isn't concerned about Cruz's tremendous amateur pedigree. In fact, he believes the Cuban's lack of pro experience will be his undoing. He's just a good boxer, plain and simple. Everyone can see that, said Muratalla. I think my significant experience in the pros is going to play a role. He hasn't fought anyone before at my level. Once I enter the ring, everything just clicks and connects for me. He's going to feel that early on. I wanted to get this belt to make these fights happen, and even bigger fights after this. The 135-pound title picture is currently in flux as WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson moves up to 140 next week to face the ring and WBO champion Teofimo Lopez. Gervonta Davis, the WBA champion, has an arrest warrant issued in connection with domestic violence allegations, and the sanctioning body will likely make a move soon regarding his status as a belt holder. WBO champion Abdullah Mason, the sport's youngest male title holder at 21, is coming off a gutsy UD win against Sam Noakes and appears headed towards a defense against Amando in Joe Cordinia. The Ring magazine title is vacant, but the bout between the number 3 ranked Muratalla and the number 5 rated Cruz still carries considerably high stakes. Cruz, 30, is coming off a 5th-round stoppage win against Hironori Mishiro in June and contends that Muratalla had been dodging the difficult dance ever since, claiming he signed his end of the contract to make the fight happen for November.
Jesus Christ, Andy's already 30?
Well, those standout amateurs from Cuba, they don't get here young. I mean, a lot of them turn out to be professional amateurs unless they manage to defect and make it to the United States. And a lot of times when they do, they don't make it over here young.
Means Andy doesn't have all the time in the world to be pussyfooting around. It's for that reason that after only 6 professional bouts, he's now fighting for a title.
We didn't get an answer from the other side, said Cruz. I think it was plain to see the fight was brewing for a while. If he says he didn't receive a contract, I'm not sure. To be honest, from the outset, I think he didn't want the fight. I'm coming in to take it all. Muratalla, meanwhile, maintains he's the class of the division. He doesn't know what is coming, which is good on my end, Muratalla continued. It will be a surprise to him. I feel like I can do whatever is going to work to get the win. I'm the best at adapting to styles. I'm ready for it all. During the pre-fight build-up, Cruz appeared relaxed for his first world title shot.
I'm a fighter who operates based on the way the fight is playing out. I dance to that tune, Cruz said. Each fighter has their talent, their ring IQ, and I feel that my biggest strength is in my mind and intelligence in the ring and fortitude in the bed.
What?
Yeah, I made up that last part. Andy continued, I feel that I've faced all types of fighters. I'm sure he's never faced a fighter with my ability and level in the ring. In a boxing ring, anything can happen. I will win this fight by any means, but I do feel that I will stop him.
So this is yet another fight that would pit Robert Garcia against Bozy Ennis as trainers in opposing corners. The other was what's supposed to be the Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz fight.
Yeah, well, that one didn't happen.
This one is going to this weekend. When Andy Cruz says that Team Muratalla didn't really want this fight, I feel so inclined to believe him because nobody really wants to face a Cuban fighter for a good number of reasons.
Cuban fighters generally present pesky styles, frustrating styles that people don't want to deal with, in tandem with their lack of marquee value, what creates a high-risk, low-reward situation. You fight one of these guys, you don't stand to make much for doing it.
For what is Raymond Muratalla's first fight as a defending champion, having to come up against somebody like Andy, it's not something you sign up for voluntarily. It's not ideal, it's not what you want, but it's what the IBF ordered, so Raymond's got to do it. It's either that or cough up the belt. Now, Andy Cruz is not your Guillermo Rigondeaux Cuban. He's not your Erislandy Lara Cuban. He's not limited to being an outboxer.
Staying on the outside, being economic with your output, overly careful, always moving. Andy shows a bit more spice than that.
It's likely because he's trained by Bozy Ennis, based out of Philadelphia, so he shows a bit more spite in his fights, of which I've seen all 6.
That's good.
Cuban amateur style that you often see from fighters out of La Finca. It's indeed very effective in the amateurs, which is why they've won so many gold medals over the years, but in the pros, it does have its limitations.
Fighter, even a very good one out of the amateurs, still needs to adapt to the pros, because the amateurs and the pros really are different beasts. In the amateurs, you can be very effective for 3 rounds.
This is how long an amateur contest lasts.
But the pros is what separates the men from the boys. You can be good for 3 rounds, but can you still be good for 6?
How are you going to be holding up after 10? Can you make it to 12? Or can you take it out of the judge's hands and end it before that?
Raymond Muratalla was last in action in May of last year. Andy was last in action the following month in June.
The fight between them took some months and some effort to make, and now it's finally here. I like Andy Cruz to win a decision. I don't know that he stops Raymond Muratalla, but I do feel that he can outmaneuver him. He can out-hustle him.
I think he's got sharper reflexes than Raymond, quicker to the draw, better instincts, better movement, faster on his feet.
He is a trickier fighter overall, and so I like him to win this weekend and become IBF champion, after which I expect Raymond Muratalla to move up in weight and leave this division. If he loses his belt, there won't be much reason to stick around.
So I expect that he won't. Andy Cruz on points, conservatively, is the pick.
I already have 2 of my young fighters fighting tomorrow, and then next month I also have another 2. So I'm already working. I think it's a great thing, man. Look, they're giving opportunities to a lot of guys that are in the gyms waiting for the phone call. They're giving opportunities to a lot of guys that don't have that opportunity with a top promoter, with a top 80, with a top rank Golden Boy. So why not? Plus they're paying very well. So all my fighters want to be there. They actually all want to be there. You know what I mean? Because they see what a 6-rounder is making tomorrow night compared to what they've made in their career. It's a different story. So man, I also have to do what's best for my fighters. So yeah. I'm happy. Like I said, I wish we would have had one of those when I was fighting.
That effectively dispels a lot of the slander and mudslinging we've been hearing in association with Zuffa Boxing, that Dana White's going to come in and cheap out on the fighters like he cheaps out in the UFC.
Not according to Robert Garcia, who's got no reason to lie. I said it then. He's not going to take his fighters over there to get jerked by Dana. If he's taking them over there, it's because there's money over there, and it's a good deal. And it's not just Robert singing Zuffa's praises.
Robert Meriweather III, on his experience with Zuffa Boxing before his debut this Friday, I've fought on Top Rank cards, been with Floyd. This is one of the best experiences that I've ever had. They make me feel like an actual investment. It's like an actual professional sport. I went to their facility and seen all these kind of different things. In boxing, we never had access to what we're getting now, the UFC Performance Institute. I kind of feel like a football player, NFL player, NBA player, stuff like that. We get cryotherapy, snacks, food, nutrition, and a nutritionist. They cook for you. You get meal preps.
You know that usually you have to come out of pocket for a nutritionist.
That costs extra, whereas with Zuffa, it's all baked in. No sanction and body fees either, and as stated, according to Robert Garcia, the money over there is good.
Well, that's what I thought. That's what I said. People are acting like this is just Dana White's baby. It's also in association with Sella, with Turkey LL Sheik, with the WWE, with Paramount Plus. They've got deep pockets.
More importantly, they've got fight dates, which is more than we can say for the PBC, that have nothing on schedule. It's more than we can say for Top Rank, who still haven't landed on their feet after losing ESPN and Golden Boy.
Still between broadcasters.
So that if things are better at Zuffa than some people would have had you believe, it begs the question, why were they so against it?
Agendas.
They serve a different master.
Some still bowing at the pulpit of TBE, a guy who goes by the name Android Uppercut, reacting to Robert Meriweather's testimony said, "You hear that, fighters? Don't strive to be Money Mayweather. Sign to Zuffa. They get free snacks."
You know, I'm pretty sure that Richardson Hitchens and Jahan Ingram were striving to be like Money Mayweather when they signed to Mayweather Promotions.
And how did that work out for them? Striving to be Money Mayweather. He left them on the shelf to collect dust. Didn't get them fight dates.
Carmel Moten, how's he doing?
What is Money Mayweather doing for him that fighters should make it their mission to strive to be him? Near as I can tell, trying to replicate Floyd's success?
Hasn't worked out for anybody.
How about, instead of telling fighters to try to be Floyd, let them be themselves? Because there's only one Floyd.
There's only one sport of boxing, and you don't seem to know what's going on in it. In the American boxing scene, most of the broadcasters have withdrawn from it. There are only really two broadcasters that are giving out fight dates, DAZN
and Paramount Plus. That's it. So where do you expect all these fighters to go? Should they just wait in limbo, still aspiring to be Money Mayweather?
Guy's too fucking stupid for this conversation.
Seriously, too dumb. You're still stuck in the Mayweather era from what, a decade ago? A lot has happened since then. The sport of boxing in the United States is nowhere near as fertile and lucrative as it used to be, and there are only so many opportunities to go around, so that if Zuffa is giving some of them out, these fighters would do wise to go over there. I said it in my previous video. Guys like Android Uppercut tend to look at boxing in a two-dimensional space, as if these aren't real people with real bills, real mouths to feed.
Like they're characters in a video game.
You think all these fighters can afford to wait around for Top Rank to sort them out, or Mayweather Promotions, or the PBC? No.
Your lack of understanding in how the sport of boxing works comes from your lack of real-world experience.
You ain't got any, but I could have told you that when the well starts to dry up with the other promo outfits, the people in boxing are going to gravitate towards wherever the fight dates are, because that's where the money is.
I could have told you that. In fact, I did.